Thanks for taking the trouble to watch another one of our homeschool videos. Today I'm going to be talking about two things that I've seen in the news recently. First is a news report that has appeared in the London Economic and various other websites about the drastic increase in home education in the capital city over the last decade. Evidently, there's been a 582% increase over the last decade in London alone, and boroughs such as Newham have seen a 686% increase, Hackney 323%, down to Lewisham 212%, and this is a pattern all the way across the borough. There's a guy called Dr. Nick Smith, who's a principal at Oxford Home Learning, and he says, and I highlight here, the growth of home education in London reflects London's changing diversity and needs, and a bit like is here, and that's one school structure doesn't fit all. And I think this is relevant across the whole country, not just to London. And in fact, the more and more people are discovering that rather than put on production line education, is the opportunity out there for children to have a customized curriculum, one that is unique to them and one that is able to fit around their abilities, their desires, their wants, and where they can work at their own pace. Now, they say that one of the reasons that there could be, specifically in London, such a large increase is down to the diversity of the capital city. But I don't necessarily think that that is the case. I think that if we were to go and we would look at the UK in general, rural areas as well as urban areas, we would find a similar increase. And you only have to look at the various Facebook groups that are out there, links of which I'm going to be putting into this video. The two best ones are Home Education UK and Homeschooling UK, to see that there are dozens and dozens of people on an almost weekly basis, even just joining these groups, looking for support and reach out to other home educators and other parents that are going through a similar situation. I think what we've got to note is that, again, going back to this aspect where the gentleman talks about one size education not fitting all, one structure doesn't fit in all, and then going on to talk about online home education. Now, he talks obviously about his own provider, Oxford Homeschooling, but there are so many resources out there online that are able to provide fantastic educational opportunities for people should they wish to find them, ranging from the more sort of structured and harder courses to FutureLearn, sorry, and various other sites such as those provide, to more open curriculum such as the nature curriculum and other random resources that you can find on places like Home Education Share. Also, YouTube is an absolutely fantastic resource, and if I take you now, I'm going to take you across to YouTube, and I'm going to show you on there some of the sites that we use. I'm going to take you first of all to the Khan Academy and show you there alone. If we go onto the site, they have 6,100 videos at the Khan Academy.
Founder of the Khan Academy. We're a not-for-profit with a mission of providing a free world-class education for anyone, anywhere.
Now, as you heard from the founder of the Khan Academy, they are committed to finding or providing a free world-class education for anyone, anywhere. If you look at what the Khan Academy say, I've mentioned the Khan Academy before because we use it a lot and we highly recommend it. It's a non-profit with a mission of providing free world-class education. They've also been given a $100 million grant to help solve this critical problem of our time, which is the sort of way that education now doesn't really play a part in, or the part that it should do, in preparing people for the real world. It's still based on a production line. It's still based on the old formula of sitting in rows, putting your hands up, all learning the same things, and that doesn't really apply to children anymore. If we go into the playlists of the Khan Academy, you can see that they have new and noteworthy The Beauty of Algebra, Introduction to Algebra, they have Electrical Engineering, Grammar, they have Chemistry, Algebra again, Calculus, Finance, Biology, Microeconomics and Macroeconomics, Personal Finance, Physics, Probability, Calculus, Pre-Calculus, and I could go on, but it's excellently structured videos here. And if you go onto the actual website itself, and I'm going to do a video about a website specifically later on and show you how you can actually sign up for entire structured year courses, year 6, year 7, year 8, maths for example, and biology, just completely structure it the way you want to. It does have an American sort of bias to it, but having said that, the things that are on there are appropriate and applicable to anybody, and I'd highly recommend that. The other thing that I want to talk about in the news is something that appeared in the Essential Daily Briefing with regards to home education, and that was how we should crack down on illegal schools. And I agree, we should obviously be cracking down on illegal schools, but what I want to do is draw the distinction, and there's quite a big distinction between what is home education and what is an illegal school, because sometimes they do get confused because they're both outside of the mainstream education system. Home educators doing their thing at home, and other schools, these so-called illegal schools, operating outside of the traditional education system. They sometimes get lumped together, and it talks about April 2016, Ofsted uncovering 7 suspected illegal schools in London, Birmingham, Luton, Wolverhampton, and Staffordshire, which appear to cater to around 350 children in total, which is a tiny fraction. As we're seeing, there are over 3,800 home-educated children in London alone. And the difference between home-educated children and illegal schools, and something I feel very strongly about, is that there tends to be very much a religious aspect to illegal schools, although this isn't spoken about as often as it should be. Often these are places of indoctrination. They are places of not where learning takes place, but where indoctrination takes place. And they're outside the mainstream education system for the simple reason that they want to give a religious, biased, indoctrinated curriculum to the children rather than an open and free one. It's important for government and for local authorities and for everybody connected with the legal aspects of home education that they do differentiate between what is an illegal school and what is home education. They can't be lazy. They can't try and put them together. There's an article here that says, I'm going to highlight this. In September 2016, the local government association called on the government for change. It proposed the parents should register home-educated children, while councils would have the power to enter homes and other premises to check on children and the suitability of the education being delivered. Now, this is, again, confusing the concept of home education and illegal schools. And I think as home educators, we really need to be contacting our local authorities, our members of parliament, our elected representatives, and making sure that they can and they are capable of drawing a distinction between an illegal school, which is often, as I've said there, for the purpose of religious indoctrination, and secular home education. I'm going to draw this video to a close now. I've spoken about a couple of things in the news pertaining to home education that I wanted to. There'll be another video out in a few days where I'll be talking specifically about the Khan Academy, because I am vaguely obsessed with it. I think it's an absolutely fantastic site. So please subscribe if you haven't done already and you want to keep getting videos pertaining to home education, and leave comments as well if you want to about anything from these videos that sort of strikes a chord with you. So as I've said, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we'll be back in a few days, and I hope you found it informative. Take care now, and goodbye for now.